皆さんこんにちは、アーサーです。今日は雑談について話したいと思います。外国人の方と話をする機会があったとき、How are you? Where are you from? と聞いて、その後何を話したらいいかわからなくなったことはありませんか？
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Great. Okay. は？僕の生徒の中では IU-Connect に入会する前に基本的な挨拶はできたのですが、その後の雑談が続かないという悩みを抱えた方が多いです。でも実は雑談って決まったパターンがあるんです。そのパターンを知ってしまえば、もう会話に困ることがなくなります。そこで今日は1、雑談の土台になる隠れたパターン。2、相手が自然に話したくなるきっかけの作り方。3、雑談を気まずくさせてしまう落とし穴を一緒に学んでいきましょう。よろしくお願いします。In my experience, the reason why people struggle with small talk is because they don't see conversation as having any pattern. They think, oh, free conversation is free. There's no structure. Because if it had a structure, it wouldn't be free conversation, right? And yeah, it's definitely less structured than a conversation with a teacher. That's for sure. But I had an experience that made me realize that there is actually a predictable pattern. And if you master this pattern, then you can have short, simple, small talk conversations easily with anyone. You see, I actually wasn't good at small talk either, even in English, my native language. I grew up without many friends, and I would get nervous in conversations. I never knew what to say. If you've ever rehearsed a conversation in your head 50 times but still messed it up, or if you've ever pretended to text someone just to avoid talking, yeah, that was me. But one night changed everything. One night I was at a bar with a couple of friends, feeling invisible as usual. They were laughing, connecting, except me. I was just sitting there pretending to check my phone for the 100th time. But then something shifted. Instead of feeling sorry for myself, I started really listening like a detective. And suddenly I saw it. Mike asked about Sarah's new job. She shared a story. He connected it to his experience, asked another question. There was a pattern to this free conversation. It was like seeing the Matrix code for the first time. Conversations weren't random. They were like a dance with specific steps. And when I started using this pattern in my conversations, the conversations got a lot easier. I was able to enjoy myself, connect with more people, make more friends. It really changed my life. So what's that pattern? Well, there are 4 basic steps to this pattern. The first step is step 1, test the waters. Then step 2, open the conversation. Then step 3, give them a hook. And finally, step 4, continue the conversation. And you can do each of these steps regardless of your English ability. So let's look at that first step, test the waters. Now, this expression, test the waters, comes from the idea of putting your toe in water to see if it's warm or cold before jumping in. 日本語だと様子を見るというかもしれないんですね。And that's what we want to do here. Before you start a conversation, you should share something you both have in common and then see if the person wants to have a conversation. Now, why do we need this step? Well, people feel comfortable with other people who are in their in group. They naturally want to talk with people who are like them. Talking to completely different, unrelated people actually causes a lot of stress in the brain. So we want to show a connection, something we have in common to communicate you and I are the same. We are in the same group. So it becomes easier to talk.
共通点がないと思うんだけど、その場合はどうしたらいい？
共通点あるよ. We're both humans. But what do you have in common? You know, that's true. No matter whether they are a stranger or a friend, there are things you definitely share in common that you can use. And for example, that could be first, the place you are in right now. You know, you both are sharing the same space, and that is what you have in common. So at the very least, you can talk about the space. You can talk about either the weather or the place you're in at that moment. To talk about the weather, you can say something like, "Ah, it's so hot today, isn't it? It's raining really hard, isn't it? Ah, beautiful day, isn't it?"
今日晴れだから、It's so sunny today, isn't it? って言えるよね。
Yes. Or you could say, "It's so nice today, isn't it?" Notice the structure here. We have the statement that you think they agree with, and then we have "isn't it" at the end. This is like "ne" in Japanese. It isn't a direct question. It's more like an invitation to them to agree with you. But to be honest, this isn't a very strong connection. The hundreds of people in your area are experiencing the same weather. It's better to focus on a more specific common point. And that's the place you're in right now. If you talk about the place, it's a little bit more specific, so it's a stronger common point. If you're both waiting in a long line, you could say, "Ah, it's so crowded, isn't it?" If you're both at a coffee shop, "Ah, this place is so nice, isn't it?"
この場所の場合はどうしたらいい？すごい散らかってるけど。
違うよ、ここは散らかってないよ。
違う、カメラの後ろ。
No, don't show them, don't show them. The key is acknowledging the experience you both are having now. Now, these 2 points work if you have nothing else, the weather or the place. But as common points, they're a little weak. And why is that? Because so many people are experiencing the same thing. If we want to create a good connection, having a more specific point is better. So, if you can, I recommend giving someone a compliment. Now, wait. I know this feels awkward for lots of Japanese people, but really, this way is a lot more effective. You know, when you compliment someone, you're basically saying, "I like the same things as you." You're showing that you have similar taste, similar values. It's much more specific than just "we are in the same space." And this is why American people give comments a lot, give compliments a lot. It's not necessarily because they're nice, but they are saying, "You and I have the same mindset, the same way of thinking, and it's good." It makes people feel safe. So in this situation, you could say, "Oh, I like your shirt. Ah, your dog is so cute. Nice shoes."
のこと何か褒められるかな？
Yeah, I mean, what about my shirt? My hair? My personality? ないね. Still feel strange? Well, let me tell you a quick story. One time I was on the bus and a guy sitting across from me said, "That's a really nice shirt, man. Where'd you get it?" And it was a nice shirt. It was actually a shirt my dad gave me. It was very important to me. And so we talked about that shirt a bit, and then we had a nice short conversation on the bus. It was great. I felt wonderful. You know, complimenting someone is better than talking about the space. It's more specific. But there's another common point that's even better, and that's to have a real common point with someone, right? For example, I'm from Boston. And when I see someone wearing a Boston Red Sox hat, I naturally want to talk with them. Now, I know that the Boston Red Sox logo is more of a fashion state, and so that person may or may not really have a connection with Boston, but it feels like a connection with me, and I naturally want to talk with them because it's a deeper common point. You know, other than that, there are many other connections you can have. In the past, I've talked with strangers when I saw someone reading a book that I read before. When I saw someone studying English, I'm a native speaker. And when I saw someone drawing, I love to draw. Not really well, though. It took a little bit of courage to try and talk with them, but every time I did it, we had a great conversation because we had that deeper common point. So in your case, to talk about something you really have in common with someone, you can say something like, "Oh, Red Sox, I like the Red Sox too. Oh, Dodgers, I like the Dodgers too. Oh, I've read that book too. Oh, that looks nice. I like drawing too." Say what you have in common with that person and then add to the end. This two shows that you both have that in common, that you're both in the same group. Alright, 冬さん、早速お互いの共通点探しましょうね。
はい。
なんか趣味は？
犬と遊ぶこと。
いや、僕は犬いないね。モルモット飼ったことある？
ない。
アメリカに行ったことある？
あります。
アメリカのどこ？
ロス？
そう、反対側ね。Okay. I've never been to California. 他に趣味はないですか？
他にはダイビングとか。
ダイビング？僕ダイビングやったことない。まあダイビング好きな友達2人いるんで、それ共通点かも？知り合いとの共通点になるけどね。僕はつまんない人だな。Alright, now that we have made a common point with them, the final step of testing the waters is watch their reaction. If they respond without really looking at you, if they don't turn towards you, if they seem distracted, well, you can just end it there. No hard feelings.
It's so nice today, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Now, you might feel, won't that feel strange if I just stop talking? Not at all. Think about it this way. You've created an opening for the conversation and they chose not to walk through it. It's like a store clerk. They don't say thank you to people walking by on the street. They only say it to people who have actually entered the store and made a purchase. They've made a connection. But if the other person responds positively, like they turn towards you, they smile, they make eye contact, that's your green light to continue. And we move to step 2, open the conversation. This is where you ask a question related to what you just talked about. If you're talking about the weather or the place, you could say something like, "Do you come here often? Is it your first time here?" For compliments, you could say, "Oh, where did you get it?" Or "Where did you get that?" For a deeper common point, it's a little bit more open. If someone has a mark with a sports team that you like, you can say, "Oh, how long have you been following them?" If someone's reading a book that you like, you can say, "Oh, what made you pick that book?" For a place or a restaurant, you could ask, "Is this your first time?" Or "Do you come here often?" And then after that, you can move on to step 3. Give them a hook. This is where you share something related about yourself. You're sharing information that will hook them and make them curious, maybe make them want to ask a question. And you can do that by sharing information about yourself. Specifically, you can share what you know about that, what your opinion is about that, or a related experience you had about that. So if you're talking about a sports team, you could say something like, "Yeah, they're not really doing so well now. Oh yeah, I really like them. Yeah, I went to a game recently." If you're talking about a book, you could say something like, "Oh, that book is really popular. Oh, I really like that book. I read other books by the same author." If you're talking about a restaurant, you could say, "This place has been around for a long time. The food here is really good. I come here every month." And then after that, you go into step 4, asking another question and continue the conversation. You ask a question, hear their answer, respond with something you have in common, and then ask another question. You can start out by asking them questions like, "Where are you from? Have you been in Japan a while? Are you traveling? Or if you come up with more questions related to the current topic, that's okay too. Now you've moved into a full-blown conversation, and that's a topic for another video in the future. If you want to get notified when I release that video, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Now, before you leave, I know you're going to leave. Everyone's trying to leave now because the video is over, you think. There's one thing to be careful of, though. Throughout this whole process, we need to keep watching their body language. At first, they're open to talk, but they may want to stop talking, and it's important we respect those feelings. If they start looking around, if they stop making eye contact, if they take a step back, they might want to end the conversation. And that's totally fine. You don't need to talk the whole time. They don't feel bad. They're signaling that the conversation is over. So then you can just naturally stop talking or politely end the conversation and leave. But if they stay engaged, if they keep asking you questions, if they're facing you and smiling, you can keep the conversation going as long as you want. Let me give you some concrete examples of how this works. Let's say you're at a coffee shop waiting in a long line.
Wow, it's so crowded today, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really crowded.
Do you come here often?
Yeah, I come here almost every day. What about you?
First time. Is the coffee good?
It's great. It's wonderful. And one more example. You're both waiting for a delayed train.
The train is so delayed, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Do you know why?
I think a safety check.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's been happening a lot more recently.
Yeah, such a pain.
Yeah, it is.
How long have you been working in Japan?
About 5 years now. See how that works? It fits the pattern. And now that you have the pattern, you can prepare for that. So next time, when you find yourself in a situation to have small talk, here's what I recommend. First, think of your testing the waters, the common point you have. Then think of your next question or statement, and then imagine what they may say and think of one response. And then having these 3 points prepared, even if you get stuck, you've already created a connection with them, and maybe they will start talking to you more. Now, this is a real conversation in the real world. I know it's scary. I was scared talking to people at first too. But if you follow this pattern, I know it will change your life. OK、まとめに入りましょう。今日学んだ雑談の基本は以下の通りです。最初の一歩、共通点を見つける。それが難しい場合は、褒め言葉を使いましょう。I like your shirt. それも難しい場合は、場所について話しましょう。It's so crowded, isn't it? それもない場合は、天気について話しましょう。It's so hot today, isn't it? 2、相手の反応を見て話したい気持ちがありそうだったら、続けます。次に、自分のことをシェアして、もう一回質問をします。それから本格的な会話に入りましょう。今回の動画では雑談の基本を学んだかもしれませんが、英語を実際に話せるようになるにはどうしたらいいのでしょうか。ほとんどの英語を勉強している方はフレーズや文法をたくさん学ぶのですが、いきなり外国人を目の前にして話す機会が来たら、頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないという壁にぶつかってしまいます。僕自身も日本語を4年間勉強したのですが、実際に日本に行ったら全く話せなくて本当に悔しい思いをしました。でもそこで気づきました。英語を実際に話せるようになる鍵はもっと勉強するのではなく、英語を実際に話す感覚を身につけることです。それができたら僕と僕の数百人の生徒が実際に気軽に話せるようになって人生が劇的に変わりました。もしあなたは今の英語学習で満足しているのであれば問題ないです。ぜひこちらの動画をご覧ください。でももしあなたは実際に話せるようになりたい気持ちがあれば、ぜひこちらの動画講座をご覧ください。こちらをクリックするか、概要欄にあるリンクをタップするか、こちらの QR コードをスキャンしてください。As always, enjoy your English adventures and see you next time. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。Bye!